everyone watching. You are watching my stream. It is right now we're doing mini maps, nature. So the title of the video is exactly what it sounds like. We are making mini maps. Not mini as in tiny, but mini as in quantity. We're making very many of them. And as you can see, we have made about seven. Okay, what we're working on right now is the fairy circle. And we're gonna go from scratch to try and use the RPG Maker default tile set to make what would look like a nature, a fairy circle in a forest. So we're gonna do what we can with the tiles that we have. Alright. Now keep in mind I'm still fairly new to the program, so there might be some things that you know that I don't. So if you happen to see any of those, let me know and I'll take your suggestions and we'll apply them. Alright, so we're gonna start with a base of light grass. This is short grass. Okay, and then we're going to, I want to show you something. This is what you could consider thicker, taller grass. So when you compare the two, you can see that this is more textured, a lot more grass. This one's more of a flat kind of worn down grass. Good for pathing and good for field maps and just filler. But this grass here seems to draw more attention. So let me show you. Okay, and then what we're going to use we're going to add some water to create kind of a magical pool feeling. So the light grass and the dark grass is both going to be present in the map, and what I've chosen to use for the pool of water is this tile here, which is a bluish purple colored water. Now what I want to point out that's significant and important to doing RPG Maker maps is that whenever you are placing tiles, you have to be, especially water, you have to be aware of the outline that's going to be created around the water, basically the bank of the water. As you can see now, it's grass. So I want to show you an example of what happens if we were to put the water in the tall, thick grass. Because we laid down the foundation was the light colored grass. When we place the water, the foundation around the water will be light colored grass, and then of course surrounded by the thicker grass. Now if we would not have done that, let me show you what happens. We're going to put the default tile whenever you first start a map. I want to show you, this is important, there's a reason why I'm showing you this, because whenever you're making maps you'll need to know this, because you'll get confused like I did when I first started. Okay, we're going to put down the grass like we would, and then we're going to put a pool of water in the middle. As you can see, the transparency of the water tile is the background. So if you were to do that, there would be a black line around the water. Okay, so we don't want that in our map, so the way that we're going to fix that is we're going to place a foundation of green grass, and then we will place a layer on top of that of darker, thicker grass. Okay, and then we will put down our water inside of the grass. So that way you can see there's and the main reason we're doing this, we could use other tiles, for example dirt, and then place our thicker grass, and then place our pool water. And you could do it this way, but the reason I don't want to do that is because we're doing a forest, we're doing a fairy forest, which is gonna, if you're a fan of fantasy and you read books and look at drawings of artists, painters, you'll see that usually it is portrayed as a very heavily lush. We're thinking of a very lush forest with lots of magic and fairies and growth and life. Okay, so that's what we're going to do for this one. So we're going to create the foundation of grass, of light colored grass, and then we will use this darker, thicker grass, and of course this is the water pool that's going to be used in our map. There are some other grass tiles like this, a variation of color. We might use that. Because we're doing nature maps, we don't especially want to use any tiles, because that would create the ambiance of a settlement or a civilization or some type of building. People are making things in the forest. We want to create a natural environment. So for our fairy circle, we're going to use these grasses, this water, and let me look around here, because there might be some other things too that we want to use. Okay, that looks like a tile that would create a black look with the trees, so that would probably be something to create like this. One second. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the choices we can use. We don't want to use any rocks. We want a lush forest as our goal here. So hello, Moody Run. Bonjour. Now we will there's also a purple tile here that you can use, but you can see that the original tile has dirt around it, which is not too big of a big deal, but the purple kind of looks more like a maybe a more hostile, aggressive color, so we want to go with the blue. There's also a light colored blue here. This could also be used if you wanted to choose that water tile set. Again, these are all the defaults. There are other tile sets that you can import from user created material, but we are using the default. So with that being said, let's look and see what else we can find. We're not going to use any dirt tiles, because again, we want to create a very lush forest look. Okay, let's go ahead and move to tile set tile set B. Alright, let's see what we have in here. Okay, we've got a lot of vines, it looks like. There's a bush of 3, look like some more grass tiles, and we have lots of flowers. Okay, we're going to left click and drag these and place these so we can see what we have to look at. Alright, we got these, of course, little grass sprouts and smaller versions of that. So we have a nice, the default has a nice selection of tiles. There is some fallen logs. Of course, we have a singular tree. Trees are going to be important in this fairy circle. Here's some shorter bushes. Okay. We also have, looks like these are farm plants, so that looks a little too humanized, a little too structured. There's a hole, some rocks. We have a brown and a gray. Here's a larger tree. And these are some lily pads, which we might be able to use in our fairy pool to show some growth in there. I'll show you some tricks also for shift clicking. It's going to teach you something. Let's go ahead and show you that right now. Actually, let's say we wanted to place some flowers floating in our pool of water. Okay, so let's say we wanted to place flowers. you would hold shift and left click. Now this allows us to place a flower or object directly without affecting the background. Now some tiles you can place without holding shift, like this flower allows us to, so we don't have to worry about that. But if we were to place it here and then hold shift, right click, and hold shift and left click, it copies the grass behind it. Whatever the flower's tile is sitting in, whatever the tile the flower is sitting on, it will copy that tile and paste it to the middle. So we're going to right click the water and we're gonna erase that. Now let's try this. Let's place a piece of grass in the middle. Whoops. Now we will right click to copy our flower and left click to paste it. So you can see it erases the thick grass and places it on the tile below. Now let's do it like this. Select the flower from the actual tile set in the menu, left click, and the dark thick grass stays there. So that's just give you some insight into how that works. Okay, now let's find some more tiles that we might use. Here's some more flowers. Flowers are going to be important in a fairy circle because of all the growth of the nature. There's some more vines. Now vines, keep in mind vines are good for walls. So say for example we were to make a, let's see if we have a, okay, here's a brick wall. Okay, it deletes it. We're gonna have to select it from the menu because it's gonna erase it. So we find that. Okay, we find the vines here. Let's use these ones. These ones look a little more. Okay, as you can see, all we do is left click in place, and it places it to looks like it's along the wall of that building. Now the question is, are we going to be able to do that with trees or anything? Looks like that's not going to work. Yeah, we're not gonna be able to do that. Okay, we're gonna try to place this vine in the thick grass. Okay, it looks like it places that quite alright, no problems there. So we have the background of the layer, the floor tile is the thick grass, and then we place the vine growth on top of it. So we'll probably be using a lot of this, a lot of flowers and a lot of those plants, and of course trees. We don't want to use any of these broken tree tiles because we're trying to create a natural look. Now keep in mind, if you wanted to use this for a creative quest manner, or if you wanted to change the story of the fairy forest, which we're not going to do that in this video, but say you were to write a story about how your fairy forest was invaded by a group of men who wanted to harvest some of the growth or some of the trees or magical otherwise things. You could use these tiles to portray that someone came in the forest and ruined it by cutting down trees and taking plants and killing things. Okay, so that's about all the tiles that we might use. Looks like there's something else here. Okay, so I figured out what this is. This is the top of trees. What you see here, these tiles that I'm placing. Okay, let me just erase some of this stuff here that we might not need doubles of. Okay. Alright, so we're gonna make a line. We're gonna make a line of trees. I'm gonna need to do a it somewhere else. Let's do it here. Okay, we're gonna make a line of trees there. We'll add that. Alright, now let's try this. Okay, so that kind of gives you a side view look of trees, which I'm not sure we'll be using that. I don't think we will. Here is your shadow pen, this right here, and you can erase shadows. So I'm not sure if we're going to be using this tile. Maybe we might be able to use it at the top of the map to show an edge. Like for example, if we used it in the corner to create an offset view of our map, we would do it like this way. Create a few different, oops, looks like you can't put them. Let me try it like this, shift click. So we want to shift right click, shift left click, whoops. Except we want to do it higher, so shift right and shift left. That allows us to put a tree to look as if it is behind the one in front. So let's do that again here. We'll copy the right, shift right click the middle of the tree, shift left click. The purpose of shift clicking is to not disturb the auto tile system that the program uses to place tiles and affect the way it shadows and connects to terrains. Okay, so we've created an offset of trees in the corner. So now what we're going to do is, whoops, I didn't add, we got to extend it. So let's bring it down a little. We're going to bring the base of the tree down to here, actually to about, let's try here, erase that. Okay, we're going to put that back, copy the middle of the tree, copy it, shift by shift clicking. Okay, let's go ahead and it's a little tricky, it takes a little practice. Shift right click, shift left click. Okay, now we'll add this. Oops, we're gonna have to fix it when we're done. Okay, now we will add the bottom of the tree to the by shift clicking. Now keep in mind the shadows, we want to erase those for now. We'll do shadowing later if we have to. Okay, so it doesn't look the best, but it's a good example of how to use those tiles to try to create an offset of the map of where the forest gets even deeper. So we might look like we're in the deep forest. You could even surround your entire forest with that. So if we were to try to make a circle, we would do this on every corner. Okay, so you just want to copy exactly how you have it on both sides. Okay, so we're gonna, now that we have it, okay, so the goal is to first place the trees. Watch, I'm gonna show you this. Okay, alright, we're gonna erase this. Now what we're gonna do is select the tree base as I'm doing, alright, and then you're going to place it exactly how, see how we align it to the side. Notice how I'm drawing straight across. We want it to be symmetrical because this is a circle where it's been developed over thousands of years where fairies all come to do magical things. Alright, so we're going to go from the left all the way to the right, make sure it's balanced. Over here as well, and then there. You can offset it a little bit if you want to. It doesn't have to be perfect. Now let's shift right click, shift left click. Okay, we got the base now. We're just going to create the base of the tree. Oh, of course, we're going to have to redo it again because it's going to mess up. Alright, so then let's copy this all the way across. Yeah, it messes up. It's called auto tile. It does things on its own, so it has a mind of its own, but we're going to fix that. Okay, so we do it like such, and maybe we can even copy these to create. Alright, so now what we've done to our map is we have made a tree, we've made a so someone asked me, are you going to do any parallaxing in your maps? To be honest with you, I'm not really quite sure what parallaxing is. So that's something I'll have to look into. Let me do that right now, actually. Oh, do you mean I think I know what you're talking about. Okay, I just didn't know the term for it, but I think I didn't know the term for it, but I think I know exactly what you're trying to say. Okay, yes. Okay, so parallaxing, I do apologize. I don't know what that is. I wish I knew how to. I would gladly show that, but unfortunately, I'm still quite the beginner. So right now, I'm just only showing how to do default mapping within the program. So, but however, I will look that up and I'll learn about that. I will spend a lot of time learning how to do that. It sounds like something that gives you more power and a lot more control and ability to make better maps. So, oh, I just looked at a parallaxing picture. Wow, that is incredible. Yeah, sorry, Moody Run. I wish I was of that talent caliber, but unfortunately, I only know how to do this. Yeah, I see that. I'm looking now, and those are, wow. I mean, much more superior. But these videos are for those who are like me, who don't know how to do that, and so maybe we can learn. Maybe I'll learn later and improve my skills on that. So, but thank you for suggesting that. I'll definitely look into that and see. I'm not much of an artist. I know I'm doing this mini maps design, but I'm doing this more of a default program to try and help people who just use the default program and aren't really artists in Photoshop, especially. So, all right. So, so yeah, let's continue here. So we've created a boundary of our map where the tree line creates a feeling of inside of being of a deep forest. The forest, like the trees over top, creates kind of a in the forest feeling. So let's continue here. Alright, so I'm going to erase some of this and we'll create it over here to the side because we're going to need some room. Actually, I'm going to move all this for right now. Okay, so we're going to, I'm going to add some of the things we're going to be using. Very small squares. We're going to be using that. We're going to be using the water. Maybe some of this grass. We already used the trees. Okay, now let's look at some things. Yeah, these flowers, we can add those. Maybe these trees. Add these as well. Oops. Maybe some rocks. Maybe a fallen tree branch. These grasses. Maybe this, yeah, there's another flower, some lily pads. We might use some vines. Not too sure about these tiles, but we'll put them down and maybe we can figure out a word. Might be able to use these on these trees over here. See what happens when we do that. Okay, we can. So we can use the vines around the base of the tree to create a more, you know, natural environment where nature is thriving and completely dominating the environment. Okay, so let's fix that. Remember, auto tile is a little annoying, so you're gonna have to be very careful with that. There's some things you'll have to plan to fix later. So, all right, let's go ahead and continue working on the surrounding of our forest. I'm gonna go back to tile A. Okay, now it looks like you might be able to use that if you want to. We're not going to use that right now. Never mind. We're not going to use that for now. Yeah. Okay, so let's see what happens when we place some more this. Okay, let's place a darker one here. Then we'll place the base of the tree. Okay, we might want to extend the tree up a little more. Okay, so now keep in mind the two tiles that I'm using here. One is, they look to be the same, but one is a darker and it has more textures and layers to create the side or the shading, the bottom side, the bottom underside of the top. So it looks like it creates the feel that we're looking from an angle, and you can see the light color top is where the top of the tree, and then the darker is more of the side, and then of course it goes down and it gets even darker into the tree trunk. So we're gonna try to do it this way on the other side of the map. Okay, so we're trying to create that encircled feeling. We might be able to use both dark, just doing a little editing here. For now we'll leave it that way, okay, but later we might be able to do some editing. We're going to leave that out for now. Let's go ahead and just edit this, maybe it won't change anymore. Okay, that was wrong. So, okay, now one of the challenges for a circle is that we want to, at the bottom of the map, we also want to include trees, so it looks like a circle. Right now, it looks like we're going into something like a dead end. sort of. So let's play around with the trees and see what we can do. Yeah, really we don't want to include the trunks. We would rather just do it this way. Okay, now that's one way of doing it. So it looks like you're looking into something from the top. If we were to use the darker ones, it wouldn't really, doesn't really give you that feeling as much. Looks more like the inside of something rather than the top of the outside. So we're going to use a bright so it looks like more of the outside. From the outside looking in. Alright. Okay, now you can see that there is a shadowing on the left side. Okay, so it looks like the sun is coming from one side. Let's see what happens if we do the shading on both sides equally. Kind of gives you a little more of a feeling of being enclosed. What happens if we make the shadow even darker? Maybe it'll be too much. Wonder what happens if we do the whole thing. What happens if we shadow the entire map, being as we're in a very okay, we're probably gonna have to shadow, unshadow some things though. Okay, we're just doing a little experimenting here to see what happens. Okay, but we're gonna remove the shadow from the treetops to give us a feeling like we're on the outside looking in. Okay, so now it looks like our forest is a little darker on the inside. But there's really no sun coming through, so it might be kind of a depressing looking area. So for now, let's remove the shadowing. It'd be nice if there was a bigger tool for this. thing I was gonna say is there is another water tile. Not that one. This one. This one is has like a rocky bottom. Whoops, there it is. So you could use this one too. It all depends on your preference or whatever. But we're gonna use that one that we have. Alright, so let me just fix the shadowing on here real quick. We will at least give it an outline. Alright, so let's go ahead and start to design the middle of the. We already know the tool, the tiles we're going to use. So. Okay, so we have our forest-looking surrounding. So we look like we're in the middle of a circle. Feels like a circle surrounded by trees. So let's wait, sorry, one more. Let me see what this looks like. Okay, we'll try that and leave that for now. So let's start to design the very center of our circle. So we ask ourselves, how will we make a fairy circle? Is there a pool directly in the middle? With something maybe, like a tree in the middle, we could try something like that. Of course, this tree is probably not the best one to use. Okay, it has let's see if we can erase that shading on it. Okay, this tile is not really going to be the good one to use, so we'll try another tree. Okay. We can try this one since it's the only one that comes with it. Okay, so we'll try and make like a a big great fairy tree in the middle. This is just one approach to doing it. Create a large tree in the middle. All right, let's see what happens if we place water around it. Okay, so it's sitting on a little island in the middle. Let's try to put the tree right in the middle without using any grass underneath it. Okay, so now the tree's sitting in the water, directly in the water. So make the pool a little larger. Let's move the pool down. Cut off the edges, give it a more circular look. Okay, let's find that tree. Alright, so now we've got a tree directly in the middle of the circle. I did want to show you something really quickly though. I did download a tile set called Celiana Tiles. Okay, if we were to use this tile set, now granted it changed everything, there is better trees for this fairy circle that we're using. So for example, that tree, clearly a much better tree for the type of map we're making. As you can see, it's much better. A very large tree gives the map much more substance. But we're not using this tile set because I'm only showing the default tile set. So I just wanted to give you a sample if you did want to see how it might look better. And also the Celiana's tiles has all kinds of grass, and she has many types of things, very many. Okay, but we're not using that right now, so let's go back to our tile set. We're using the default tile set. So now let's see what would happen if we draw the circle in the middle. We're gonna make it a little large for now. Okay, and then let's put down our large tree right in the middle towards the top. Okay, so oops. Okay, let's fix our pool. Oh my goodness, these we're gonna leave the shadows alone for right now. Okay. All right, so let's take off some of the pool to create a more circular look. Okay, that pool's too small, wouldn't you say? A little too small. Control Z helps if you make a small mistake. Let's add some more to our pool. Okay, not bad. Let's try extending it down one more. Then we'll take off the edges. That looks a little better. A little larger. Alright, so now we have our magical tree and the magical pool in the very middle. Let's decorate the water surrounding the tree with some flowers. Now, nature is wild and unpredictable, so let's be wild and unpredictable in our placement. Let's put a piece of grass. Just one. We don't want to put too much basic grass. Looks like we got a vine. Okay, let's not place that there. We wanna just place lots of flowers here. Okay. Not too bad looking. Okay, now, but we ask ourselves, looks good, there's lots of flowers, but something's missing. Okay, it's missing, it doesn't look quite lush, so let's use this very handy tool, very handy tile we have, the thick grass. Aha, now that grass is much more lush. Let's surround our pool with this grass. Maybe make the entire middle grass. The importance was, remember, we used the foundation. The foundation was very important to use for grass because then everything we place is going to have a grass edge. So let's fill in this whole entire circle with lush grass. Okay, alright, so, well, it looks good, but maybe these shadows are... Okay, let's leave the shadows. Alright, so now we're getting a much more lush looking environment. Okay, so we have our pool decorated with flowers in the middle. Now, what else can we do? That's the question, because right now it looks a little artificial. This all this lush openness, it's too open, there's stuff missing. So what can we do here? Okay, that's not gonna look right. We have grass circles, but those are surrounded by dirt, so we don't want to use that. we might try. Okay, let's add an entrance to the fairy circle. Or maybe we'll add a few. Maybe we'll break up the tree line with some, oops. Okay, that definitely looks, that doesn't look right, so let's erase that. We'll keep it symmetrical, and we'll just add one passageway out of the forest. Now keep in mind, if you also wanted to change a different type of forest, there is these tree tile sets, and it would give us a different look. Okay, so we could do that. That's another way of doing it. Okay, but we're not going to do that. Alright, we're just going to continue how we had it. Okay, now that is one way I guess we could do it, is leave the tops of the trees poking out, so it gives it a simulated look of the trees coming out of the very more dense upper section of the. Oops. Okay, we're going to move all the shadowing for now, because it's just in the way. Okay, so we have our little pool in the middle. We have our forest line at the bottom with the trees poking out. Thanks, Moody. Okay, so now we have, a other type of grass. Now, if we wanted to create some variation in the or some wear, maybe in the random patches, you could do that to add a little asymmetry, not too much, though, because we want to keep our look. Okay. Okay, so Moody says the shadows on the left added depth. So let's keep them there. Now we will be doing shadow editing later, so just keep that in mind. Thanks, Horror. Okay, so now we have a little variation in the lush forest ground floor, which is these little grass spots. So okay, we have our exit. There's our entrance exit into and out of it. All right. Now it will, if you, of course, if we fix this, it's gonna look better. So we already know that. That's one of the reasons why it may not be looking right. Okay, so now the forest trees are gripped into the ground. They erase for some reason because of the auto tile, the way it works in the program. Okay, so let's move this little offset piece here up some more. Okay, there we go. Now, so we have our lush floor, we have our little variations in the floor, we have our bottom tree line, it's a bright color at the very top of it, then we have some trees poking out to suggest that the trees are under the forest top, the head of the forest, and kind of poking out. Gives us just another feel of the forest. Now you could erase some of these just so you know, to give it a little variation if you wanted to. So change it up a little bit, and you can do the same with the treetops here. No, we're gonna leave that how it was. But you might be able to at least do that with it. Remember, an important part about nature maps are symmetry. If something is too symmetric, it looks abnormal, it looks artificial, it looks fake, it looks created. Someone made it, someone had a design for it. So we don't want to do that, because nature is wild and it's not structured like we would think it to be. So we want to make our maps like reality, real nature. Okay, you might be able to extend a tree downwards. Let's experiment with that. Okay, doesn't look too bad, I don't think. Okay, it does give it a little, kind of stands out, maybe a little too much. Yeah, gives us kind of a fairy. For a fairy circle, we want to kind of make it we want to be a little more symmetric than we do asymmetric, and that's just because while this is nature, it is we would say that it's a more frequented place, because there are little creatures coming here to do ceremonial things and magical things. So it would suggest that there's like the path we have, so we want to try to make it symmetrical, like you know, if you travel a path, say you have a path to your backyard, from your door to like maybe your grill, and you travel that path every day. You mow your lawn, but that little path you go to your grill every day, you can see where your footprints have slowly matted down the grass. Okay, so we want to try to simulate that. Okay, so we have our grass and a little offset variations of patches. We have you know, a natural assortment, random assortment of flowers in the middle of the pool. Now let's see what we can do to accentuate the pool, make it seem to pop more on our map. As of now, it still does, but what can we do to make it stand out a little more? Maybe if we add kind of what looks like a path around it. Okay, it definitely changes the look of it. Maybe a little too unnatural. Fairies fly after all, they don't walk. They have wings. They're little flying things. Okay, so let's erase that. Maybe we can find something else to do that, to accentuate it. Okay, now, well, what we're doing right now is let's work on the pool in a minute. Right now, these when you add these to the base of the trees, it gives it a more like almost like you can't enter there. It would make it very difficult to get through because of all the brush. It's you couldn't really walk through it. Imagine having a tree, very large trees and very many trees, and you're walking through and there's bushes as tall as you are, and you can't see, and they're so thick and viney and so many vines and things, and you can't even put your hand in it because it's so thorny. You can't even touch it. There's thorns as big as your hand, and it's just, that's why it's a magical place, because it's hard to get to being a human. Okay, so let's okay, so if we add some more of these little vines. Okay, now remember, asymmetry is good. We don't want to do it exactly like we did on the other side. We did it the same, but not exactly the same. We don't really want to put too many of them on the side, because then we lose the feeling of the treetop and it changes it. So over here it looks good, over here it looks not too bad. This little thing here is kind of in the way, though. We might want to move it out a little bit. Okay. What happens if we make it even thicker? See, it starts to fill up the map. It starts to take, it's like it's taking over, like, oh, there's the clone wars of, it's the clones, they're taking over. They're just growing over the entire forest. It doesn't even have any magical appeal anymore. Okay. So we don't want to do that. So we want to just do a little bit. Maybe place one more here. Okay. And then also we can place maybe one somewhere. As so. Okay, now let's see what we got going on with these vines. See what we can do with these vines here on this tree. Oh, now this forest is starting to look a little more crazy, huh? Yeah. Okay, now we don't want to go overboard. We found a nice tile. We don't want to just start spamming it everywhere, because then you're gonna lose your class. Your map is gonna lose its unique flair. So we don't want to do too much of that. Now, however, if you did a lot, you could see if you tried too much. But now, if you did the same kind of every vine, and if you might be able to get away with that. Not quite, because then we lose trees, and now they're starting to look like these mutations of nature, abominations. But we want this large tree. We have this long trunk standing out, don't we, in our map? So we want to use that to one of those to have that large vine, so that it really stands out. Hey, look at that vine on that tree. It stands out in its singularity in the map. Okay, so now let's okay, it looks like those are flowers that go on the trees. So let's try putting one of those up top of one. Okay, let's put it over here by that vine on the right side. Wow. Okay. Looks like those stick to the trees. Let's use one of those at the top. Maybe. No. We're going to leave that like that. Okay, let's put it up there. Now we do have a green stump. No, it looks cut. We don't want anything man-made looking. Takes away from the nature. What are these things? No, we're not going to use those. We could use those, but they look a little too hostile. We want to create a very magical, inviting place of peace, happiness, and harmony. Creatures that dedicate their lives to peace and magic and beauty and spiritual purity and cleanliness. So let's see what we can do with these trees. Okay, we might be able to add a vine to one of these. Let's put one there. Maybe we can get away with putting another one of these in here. Let's try it on one of these here. Let's put it right here. Okay, now let's fix our trunks. Let's fix our the base of our trunks. Remember, shift click. Remember, shift click. Shift left click. Shift right click, shift left click. Okay. Shift right click. Okay, we got the top of the tree. Fix that. Top of the trees. Now we need to put in our vines again. Hold shift. Shift left click. Okay. Hold shift. Okay. Hold shift. Very important. Alright, now I was going to mention that we might be able to get away with copying this on both sides. It gives it a more symmetrical left side, right side. It kind of pulls it together to be a more magical place. Let's try just half of it. Okay, I think that works. What about you guys? What do you think? I think we're okay with that. Maybe might look a little weird because how did it get like that? You know, if you think, how did it separate itself? So let's try doing it only 3/4 of the way down. Okay, we can get away with that. That looks pretty good. It's symmetrical but asymmetrical at the same time. We have busted both worlds. Okay, now we got some dead looking things. We might not want to put this in our fairy forest because it's gonna take away from that lively nature, living feeling. Okay, we got some mushrooms. We can add some mushrooms. Mushrooms are kind of neutral. They're not necessarily good or bad. Let's add a mushroom. Let's add a few mushrooms. Okay. Alright, so that tree on the far right looked like a groomed poodle with that little patch missing. Yeah, it's pretty funny. That's good. Okay. So, alright, so now, whoa, wait, look at this one. We got a great looking flowery flower here. Yeah. Well, they'll get better. Okay, now we've got something really nice here. A very big flowery purple bush. Okay, that's a good one. Right now, what can we do with this? What can we do, like maybe extravagant to really use it to? Because if we just place it randomly, what's it gonna? You know, it's gonna look a little too strange. So let's maybe try to uniform this tile. What if we surround our pool with this to go along with the circular? Okay, that might look a little too, yeah, not really feeling that. Maybe if we reduce the amount of them. Okay, that's not too bad. Okay, we got this crazy looking thing. We might be able to get away with this too. These large mushrooms. Let's try this big mushroom over here. Okay, so now we got our map starting to look a little populated with some vegetation and stuff. Let's fix this tree here. Okay, now the only bad thing about this grass variation down here is it looks like a path, sort of. Someone might interpret that as a path. Maybe not a bad thing, so we can leave that. Maybe we could actually use that as a path. Okay, so we gotta remember, we're not just making maps, we're making game maps or someone to walk around on and someone to explore. You always gotta keep that in mind. You want it to be natural, but you also want it to be playable. Okay, let's place our character. Make sure the intro movie is disabled. Okay. All right, looking pretty good. Okay. Let's give our map a playtest and see how that water comes to life and everything. Let's see how it feels to walk around. Okay, so you can see we're in the tall grass. It's up to our leg. That's a good feeling because it gives that natural feeling. Okay, that's a poisonous. All right, so now what we've encountered is that water doesn't really move much. And also it's poisonous, so we're gonna have to change the tile set. We're gonna have to change that so it's not poisonous. It might be defaulted like that, but either way we can walk in it, which is what I intended for. So let's see what we can do to change that tile set. Okay, so we're gonna go to exterior. It looks like okay, we're gonna go find the damaged floor of our tile. Okay, so we got all these things to the side here. Yeah, tricked ya. Ha, gotcha, evil fairies. And the forest turns into like alive and it starts grabbing you and slamming you into the ground and like, drink the water. Alright. Okay, so let's find that tile and fix that, huh? Okay, there it is. So it was poisonous. We're gonna fix that. Not poisonous anymore. Okay, let's test that again. Hey look, the background's even a fairy background. What do you know? Alright, so there we go. we have a little pool in the middle we can walk around with flowers. So we wanted to create the idea of a shallow pool, which we did. Okay, we have our nature growing around it. There's a bush. Can't go through that. Walk on it. Okay. Alright, so there you go. We have on the trees, the vines are looking pretty sparse and random. Okay, which is pretty good. We wanted that feel. Okay, we can walk under the trees. That's good. So our map's looking pretty playable. Okay. Okay, now one thing that I was noticing that maybe we could make this symmetrical and it wouldn't be too big of a deal, huh? Let's take those out. Let's fix that and make it look like the other side. We'll leave that though. Okay. Let's fix these tree bottoms too. Now we've lost our vine there. Okay, now we got asymmetry going on. We've got vines the same on both sides, but one's a little shorter. We got a flower there, nothing there. We got one there, nothing there. See, that creates an imbalance, so makes it look a little more wild. Okay, now some of these maps you could actually sometimes less is more. We all know that saying, and that does apply to maps. So if we Gatorade, right? Gatorade fairy water. Okay, now okay, so we have pretty much our fairy pool is mostly done. We might be able to add some lily pads in it, but that might take away from that feeling. Might give us a little too much. Again, this is yeah, right, the spelling doesn't. Okay, now oops, sorry, I'm slouching. Okay, so you don't want to fill the pool up too much. Again, this is something that it comes to designer style. Everyone has a signature. Whenever you make your own maps, you will see patterns that you do, and that's called an artist's signature. And everyone has one. We're all different. Our brains all work differently. So you might want to add more lily pads than flowers. You might instead do something like this. You might do something, more of a patterned thing. So everyone's different. Always remember that. You want to add your unique touch to it. So anytime you see me show you something, always remember that you could do it your own way. Not necessarily the way I'm doing it. This is the way that I design, and everyone's different. So okay, now that's looks mostly done. There's very few little more things we could use. You could add a fallen tree limb because tree limbs are natural; they fall. So okay, just little stuff like that. Um, okay, we're not gonna do that. Okay, let's see what a rock would look like. We don't really want to add a rock. Rock's not gonna really benefit us. Here's some more vines we missed. Let's see what does happen if we make our forest very viney. Okay, again, it all comes down to style. You might like this. Someone might not. Personally, I prefer that way. That's just me. So okay. Yeah, me too. That's my preference. Okay, now I wanted to point something out also. Whenever you're designing a map like this, you'll see here that there's an ancient looking pillar. Now, whenever we place this, you immediately go, wow, that makes this map look so much better. Indeed, Dragon, it does depth. Okay, now you might think, wow, this stone makes the map look so much better. Okay, and the truth is, it absolutely does. It makes it look a little more interesting. But the only point is that I'm doing a nature map series. We are doing strictly nature. We're not involving any structures, any settlements. And you might think, well, what's the point of that? You could make a whole map look so much better. Well, yeah, I could, but the series is based on nature, and that's what we're doing. If you wanted to take one of these maps and you emailed me and said, can I have that map because I would like to use it and add to it, you're more than welcome. But for my series, we are doing nature. So we're trying our best to create a natural environment. And so let's recap on the map. There might be some more things we could add, but I say now here's a pretty good stopping point because I am recording this and it's been a long time. So as you can see, we did our fairy circle. We created a pool in the middle, took off some of the edges to make it look more circular. We did want a circular kind of feel because we're trying to create a pool that has some significance to a species. We have all of these plants all in the water to suggest that the water is somehow potent. We wanted to create the water to look potent, which means lively and powerful and very nutritious and everything. Okay, so then we did our trees to create the inside of being inside of a forest, inside of a thick forest with a very deep thing, a pocket in the forest that's very thick and heavily on the ground. So anyway, you might be able to add shadowing I was gonna say you might be able to shadow a little extra. Yeah, in a way, Jimmy, yeah, you can say that's sort of like a tree of life, some type of significance to the fairy world. Okay, now we added shadow on all of this, but looks kind of weird. I'm just curious, what would happen if we filled the entire forest with a shadow? Let's do some paint strokes here, up and down, using my technical hardware mouse. It's a piece of hardware, but it's acting like a paintbrush. It's beautiful how that works. Picasso and all of the greatest paintings would have relished the ability of technology. It is a shame. However, they did pave the way for some of our greatest art techniques because they had to use some of the most rudimentary equipment to do great things. And they managed to through pure dedication, hard work. Yeah, wax on, wax on, wax off, wax on, wax off. Yeah. Alright, so that looks a little weird. Yeah, so maybe if we remove the shadowing in the pool to maybe accentuate the pool, to create like maybe there's a hole in the ceiling of the that's making it shine through. Looks a little strange. Yeah, you might could get away with it. Again, we all do have to keep in mind we're using 2D graphics and it's kind of hard to achieve advanced lighting. So we do want to keep that in mind. It may work, but we're gonna say no. Yeah, Jimmy, it does kind of seem like a cool idea, but maybe it's not quite working the way we would think. So okay, that contrast is a little too strong. So let's take that away. Might have been able to get away with some stepping stones, but again, keep in mind the details of this map or the series. The key that we're doing here is that we are using the default minimum of the map size, and we are trying to create environments, terrains, and nature settings using the default tile set that comes with RPG Maker. So for those of you who are not very proficient or talented, skilled with yes, Jimmy, okay, I'll do that. But those of you who are not really super talented with, like me, with tools and things, this is just a tutorial. This is a series to help you okay. I'm not gonna worry about that right now because yeah, just not gonna worry about that right now. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much it. That is our fairy circle. So like I said, I wanted to recap: lay a foundation of light grass and then build your surrounding forest line to create the circle. We added a pool in the center of ours, a magical pool with lots of flowers to show the growth. Then we put a tree in the middle, so it kind of it makes you focus on something. It goes, oh, there's a tree in the middle of the map. So this map is specifically focused around a fairy circle and a tree. Okay, now the map is complete. We're going to save it. You will see that it is under our World Forest branch. So we later on, whenever I do some more maps, which right now we have a forest, river, a swamp, and a fairy circle. We will later do a world map to encompass those character maps. Alright, so the fairy circle, oh, okay, I got you. Okay, I think my dogs want to go out, so I'll probably take a break here in a second. Fairy, okay, so alright, so our fairy circle is done. I keep getting off track. We laid the foundation. We created the tree circle around us. Then we laid the grass down. Then we put the pool in the middle. We put a tree in the middle. We did flowers in the pool. We did growths and things around it. We created an offset of paths. We made one in the middle, directly in the middle. Then we made one off to the side, so it's kind of like a two-path thing. Instead of a one-path thing, which you could do it that way, make it kind of a dead-end character map, so you just go in and it's that and then you leave. So you could do it that way, but we've done it this way, a two-entrance place. You could do 3, you could do 10, you could do however you want to. We're all different, unique in our styles and our methods. So I have showed you mine, and this is our fairy circle. We'll save it just to make sure. And before I go and take a break, I was gonna say that the one way that you can I'll go ahead and do it really quickly. One way that you can make this interesting is by adding a graphic of a we're gonna find it, where to go. Okay, here we go. So one way that you could make this map interesting is by adding one of these, and it creates like little, maybe these are to represent the fairies. The other ones look like bugs, so we don't want to use those. We don't want to use the biggest one. We want to use the third size. So we will select this with a graphic. We create an event using F6, right click, place the graphic as a little ball of light. Now we will we want to create the effect that the ball of light is a fairy traveling at very fast hummingbird speed, so going like kind of like Tinkerbell in Zelda. She was very popular. Alright, so we're gonna do faster times 2, and we're gonna do frequency higher, and we're gonna do a stepping animation. Wait a minute. No, wait, that might not be right. Frequency. Let's use let's do a normal frequency with a faster step options. Settings. Turns on the animation. Ah, that means it'll be moving when it's okay. So it's gonna move when he stops. So it's gonna still be flittering while it's sitting still, which is that is what we want. So the walking animation means that when it moves, you can see the animation of the graphic. When it has stopped moving, if you enable stepping animation, when the event is not moving, you will see the movement animation of the graphic still. So we're going to enable both, so that way it's constantly moving and twittering and fluttering. And then whenever it moves, it moves and stands still. Moves and it's still flittering. It's still doing it, moving, flittering, standing still. So it's constantly in motion, even when the event is being moved. So let's add a let's see what we can add to it. Alright, so we're gonna try, well, Dragon, let's see, fastest and highest. Fastest is gonna be really fast. Let's just try it. Well, you might be right, you probably are, but let's just try faster. And also, I didn't want to use highest because I wanted it to kind of sit around a little bit. We'll use higher. We'll use faster and higher, just because I don't want it to go too crazy and too fast. So let's try that. We're going to copy, hold Control C, and we're going to paste this fairy to create a few of them. Let's do 2 of them. Oh, I forgot to use the random. Thank you, Dragon. Alright, so let's I don't really like that animation. I wish we could change it. Not a big fan of that sparkly thing. So we're gonna take the animation off until it's moving. Whenever it's moving, yeah, it's gonna do it, but not all the time. So let's try it now. Random movement. Okay, so now we've created an effect that looks like a little fairy sprite is swimming around or not swimming, but you know, floating around our pool of magic. So let's try something. Let's make the frequency the highest. But let's try to make it move slowly, or let's try normal speed. Let's make it move a little slower. There we go. Looks a little better. The only problem is it's leaving the pool. We don't want it to leave the pool. Let's do a fixed movement. Let's try it. Okay, we're gonna start here. I'm gonna go down 3, right 3, up 2. Okay, we're gonna go 3, 3, 3, 3, and repeat. Down, right, up, left. Down, right, up, left. Okay, let's do down, right, up, left. One, two, three. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and repeat action. Okay, it looks a little too fixed because it's going around in a circle. It's kind of like it's orbiting. It's not quite a really lively animation. Okay, we'll make one of those do that, and then we'll make another fairy do a random path. How about that? Or kind of a random one. Let's copy. Let's paste. Okay. We're gonna change its route. Okay, let's see what we got here. Let's do okay. I'm gonna type it in the chat so I know what I'm doing. We're gonna do, okay, we're gonna go right, up, up, left, down. Okay, right, up, up, left, down, 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 left, left, up, right, right, up, 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 left, 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 down, down, repeat. I know that's pretty crazy, but I typed it, so. Alright, let's do a custom move route. I have it in the chat. We're gonna do right, up, up, left, down, 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 left, left, up, right, right, up 3, left, right, up 3, left 3, up 4, up 3, left 3. It's gonna be crazy. Down, down. It's gonna be nuts. I don't even know if this is gonna be right, but we're gonna try it. Okay, now we got one fairy doing his circles around there. Then we got one doing a random path. Uh-oh. Oh man, that's kind of funny. Okay, you know what? We're just gonna do random for both of them. Alright, so there you have it. That's pretty much our fairy circle with little fairies in it. Now, the only thing that I was going to say we could have done was We could have made we could have made this map unique and interesting by adding some events when we walk into the pool. Well, I'll start a whole new series on events later, but as we walk into the pool, whenever we step in, the fairies will attack you. So that's one thing that we'll do special. If you step in the pool, the fairies will chase you and damage you, or give you some type of spell, cast something on you, so next time you go in battle you're paralyzed or something. We'll do something crazy like that. So but right now we're not doing events, we're just doing nature maps. So